welcome to the Musical Chairs Podcast, the only podcast that invites you to pull up a chair and take a listen. Right now, I am with local Chicago artist, Chuck West, and he's going to be dropping some knowledge on who he is, what he does, and where you can find him. So, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me, man.
All right, cool. So, first question first. What is it that you do? What do you feel is the best way to describe what you do as an artist?
That's a very tough question because I do a lot of things. Outside of music, I'm a graphic designer on the side, but musically, I am a rapper. I write rhymes and lyrics. I freestyle in the ciphers over at Subterranean. I'm also a piano player. I've been playing since I was like 8 years old. Steadily composing instrumentals and trying to get some beats put together, talking about sampling and whatnot. But I mean, as far as performing goes, I'm just starting out. It's only been about a year since I started, so I'm slowly getting recognized in the music world as far as Chicago is concerned.
All right, man. So you do everything. That's cool. So tell me, so how'd you go from doing nothing to doing everything?
Well, if you want to start from the beginning, I'd say you have to go back to the year 2000, man, when I was in 6th grade. I was at home and I saw this music video by this group called The Gorillaz. And their video was called Clint Eastwood. It featured this rapper named Del the Funky Homosapien. And at the time, like I mentioned before, I'm a graphic designer. At the time, I was really getting into Japanese anime, you know. And for those that don't know, Gorillaz is an animated group. Like, you never see the actual people playing the music. And to see a group of cartoon characters playing good music, it was just perfect timing for me to catch inspiration to start really getting more and more artistic. So for a couple years, I'm just playing that album over and over, just sketching in a sketch pad, drawing and what have you. A couple years later, I'm at a Borders bookstore, rest in peace Borders, and I see this album by Del the Funky Homosapien. It was called No Need for Alarm. The album was already 8 years old, but since I knew him from the Gorillaz, I decided to go ahead and pick it up anyway. So I started listening to it, and it had so much of a different feel than the music that I was listening to that was from like that era.
It's like Hammer.
Right. Well,
Vanilla Ice.
It was a little better.
2 Live Crew.
Oh man. I've been reading books on hip hop history, and I was just reading how 2 Live Crew's album was, for a while, banned from a lot of stores.
Banned in the USA.
If you tried to sell it, you could actually get arrested.
That's right.
That's how outrageous people thought it was. That's how outrageous people are for trying to censor out music like that. I lost my train of thought. Anyway.
So you're listening to Del at Borders. You're listening on and on and on.
Yeah, it was really different. It was really funky, jazzy, and had a lot of comedic tones to it as well. So listening to him led me to listening to Hieroglyphics, which is the group that he started. Listening to them got me listening to other groups associated with them who, like Hieroglyphics, are independent groups. So I started listening to them more and more, and I started getting into the idea of, oh, maybe I could rap too. Like people who, you often hear about people singing in the shower and whatnot. I used to freestyle in the shower. Now at the time, my rhymes weren't that good, but I was really into.
Can you give us a taste of what freestyle bathtub rhymes would be?
Bathtub rhymes.
Was it like, yo, man, I'm rolling on dubs, gotta scrub a dub, yo, gotta get clean because I get so mean, something like that?
I was never rapping about the shower or the bathtub.
Oh, okay. I just thought because you're in the shower just to inspire you.
No, I mean, back in the day, Hieroglyphics does a lot of braggadocio rap, so I would try to brag about myself, although I really wasn't. I really didn't have anything to brag about at the time other than the fact that I was drawing real well.
Okay.
But after a while, I just really started getting to the idea that maybe I could start writing rhymes and actually take this somewhere.
Okay.
Ironically, it was 7.5 years. 7.5 years passed by before I even had the audacity to look for venues in Chicago to actually perform. I didn't have the confidence to until sometime last summer.
So that's 7 years. That's a lot of bathtub rhymes that you were doing.
I had stopped rapping in the bathtub about a month or so after.
I mean, but I'm just saying, man, if anyone wanted to battle you over tile, you would be the man to go to, right?
The man to go to.
Like, yo, man, listen to Charles West, man.
Rapping into a loofah, not a microphone.
That's right. Yo! I mean, because you look tough with a loofah in your hand. You know, that's like grabbing your nuts.
A loofah gangster.
Loofah gangster rap.
Thugging with loofahs. No. Stuff is whack, man. But, so, I started Googling up venues trying to find places. And actually the first place I started performing at wasn't really a hip hop venue at all. It's a jazz club known as the Green Mill, just like next door from here. What they do is they do open mics and poetry slam. So it's really more poetry oriented, and they rarely ever get rappers or hip hop MCs to go up there and perform. But every now and then they do. Now, according to what one of my friends who also performs there told me, a lot of the rappers who go there are not really well received. I didn't ask why, but...
Let me guess. Let me just throw a guess out there.
Okay.
Let's see. North side of Chicago. Let's see. Poetry, a jazz club, the Green Mill. Let's see. Lots of white people.
Hey, 80% of hip hop's audience is white.
Well, just because it's 80% white doesn't mean it's 80% white people like rap. There's a whole different thing.
What I'm saying, you know what I'm saying.
Right, 80%, you could say the same thing about black men, right?
Right.
You know, prison population is 80%, but it doesn't mean 80% of all black men are in jail.
No, I feel
right.
I feel what I'm saying is you're more likely to find a white person who is into hip hop than a black person.
I will agree.
That's all I'm saying.
Baps.
Proportionate.
All right.
But I was actually received pretty well at the Green Mill. And I definitely want to give respect to Mark So What Smith and JW. Those are the two hosts, the amazing hosts of the Green Mill, who have allowed me to perform there for the past year. You know, so I'm very appreciative of that because, again, I've been told that a lot of rappers are not well received there. But the people seem to like what I do, and so allow me to keep coming back.
So what is it about the way you flow makes you different from everybody else? What do you think? What do you feel is unique to what you do?
That's a very deep question, but I guess the best way I could answer it would be when I was in high school, when I was younger, I didn't really get out much, so I didn't hang out with people a lot. So being by yourself gives you a chance to not look at others, but just dig into yourself and dig into what you are. You know, like lately, I've been going to other venues and rapping, and people will say things to me like, "Oh man, you got that pure style. You're into that real hip hop shit." You know, that's what they say, and I take it as a compliment because everybody wants quote unquote real hip hop, although technically I hate it when people use that phrase because it's overused. But
real.
But I know it means good things, you know. And I always try to come from the heart and the soul when I talk, you know, when I rap.
But when you talk normally, it's just out of your ass.
When I talk normally, it's just horse shit, people. It's just horse shit. Don't believe a word I say when I'm talking.
Okay, so you have more earnest, more introspective, or more. Best way of putting it is you're not necessarily into the flavor of the week, or you're not influenced by the trend. You're more of just sticking to what it is that you do.
Yeah, and again, I'm so used to just digging into myself and thinking about what I like anyway that it just comes out different.
Gotcha.
Now, what I've been trying to do lately is get more, not into the trends, but just more into culture and what have you. For example, I've been telling myself that I need to read more books, and I finally started been reading up about hip-hop history. I'm very much into the aesthetic of like stars, galaxies, and planets and what have you, so I started studying astronomy. I'm reading Cosmos right now by Carl Sagan. Started...
Rest in peace, Carl.
Oh yeah, when did he die? It was like 96.
Yeah.
He's been gone. Yeah, rest in peace, Carl. didn't even think about that. But just trying to get up on hip-hop culture, astronomy, black culture, trying to look more into black history, just to get more of an idea of who I am and where I can go and where I can take things. Because I realized over the past few years, you can dig into yourself when you're by yourself for a while, but when you're not looking into other issues in the world or other parts of culture, you start to run out of material.
Right on. So would you say, what would you say is is kind of the pitfalls that you see a lot of other rappers falling into trend-wise? Like you see a lot of rappers, you know, what makes you, when you look out into the world, now that you've done your introspection, now you're looking for other things, what is the things you want to avoid, you know, as far as hip-hop is concerned?
One of the things I try to avoid is being too braggadocious, and that basically means being that guy who goes, oh yeah man, my flows are so dope, tie your mama up with a rope, she won't be able to cope and she'll have no hope, like stuff like that. Just cause, ironically, the people who inspire me to rap like that. But I feel that if you spend so much time bragging and not talking about anything else, what are you left with? It's kind of like, when I was digging into myself, I had a lot to say, but when I wasn't getting into other issues in other areas of life, you know, the creative well started to dry up.
Gotcha.
So I try to avoid too much braggadocio. I mean, I'd say for every 50 raps I've written, maybe 1 or 2 is braggadocious. Because, you know, we need it every now and then. I'm not here to renounce braggadocio hip hop. Really, if Chuck West was the president of hip hop, you would only be allowed 1 or 2 braggadocious songs per album. The rest of your album has to be about why we should believe anything you said in those braggadocious songs. What do you know? What's your knowledge? What are you about? What are you seeing around you? What's your environment? Because that's really what hip hop is supposed to be. People reflecting on their environment, not just themselves, but how they fit.
That's right.
You know?
He's gonna tear you up a new one. So you can do that Key and Peele thing, right? Where you do the Obama and then I translate for you, right? You write a whack rhyme, he's gonna chop your knees off. Yeah. And then jump out of frame. Yeah. Okay.
Man.
What other quickly? What other quick things could you say that things you try to avoid in your rhymes?
Well, one thing that I really grill myself about is not copying other people, because I get this thing, I think some other artists get it too, where they'll be writing their material and then all of a sudden in their head, they're writing what comes into their head, but they almost feel like somebody else's voice is saying it. And then when that happens to me, sometimes I gotta stop and make sure that what I'm doing is coming from my heart and my mind. And it's funny, I was talking about this with my friend Jason last week, and he was saying, even when that happens, you just gotta let it flow, and then you come back and try to correct it later. You know, and I took those words to heart. I'm trying to be a little less hard on myself about being perfect when I first write it, because I am gradually starting to learn the power of revision. You know, I've been revising my old pieces back and forth. It's like when you're cutting a diamond, you gotta have the proper angle, the right level of sharpness, just so that it comes out perfect. But human beings aren't perfect. So when you write something on the first time, it may not be perfect and ready for recording right then. It's something you gotta test out. But I always want to make sure that what I'm writing is true.
Gotcha. All right. Good. How you doing? Let's see. Okay. So, give me the 5 dopest rappers today. Today.
Oh boy. I mean, my favorites change all the time.
Today.
One of my favorites is always going to be Del the Funky Homosapien. He still raps today, and since he was the one who inspired me to rap, you know, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now if it wasn't for him. So I'm always gonna place him as one of the top MCs. Let's see. Another group that I'd say?
Any.
Freestyle Fellowship. Absolutely. Because the fact that those guys are so good at improvising. And learning to improvise can really help you write material. Because it's funny, it was actually Daryl who said when you're writing, you're just freestyling in your head and putting it down. So they really raise the bar for MCs, I think. Learning how to get better and create better material. Number 3. I guess third would be Zion I.
Zion I.
Yeah,
Okay.
really like those guys because they have a very spiritual feel to them. And when I say spiritual, I don't necessarily mean religious, but I guess it goes back into my interest in astronomy because, especially a lot of their early work, it has a very spacey feel to it. And I've always loved having that outer space, intergalactic feel in music. Fourth, Gorillaz. My favorite album is always going to be their first album. But again, it was through Gorillaz that I got audibly acquainted with them. And one thing I loved about Gorillaz' first album, it was very, very eclectic. Every song had a different style of music, but it was still a cohesive album. So that's my fourth. And fifth would have to be Count Bass D.
Count Bass D.
Yep, Dwight Farrell. What I love about him is that he's very instrumental. He raps too, but he plays so many different instruments, and he knows how to compose his own tracks, his own music. Like he doesn't necessarily need other producers with him to make his stuff. Although he's been collaborating with a lot of people lately, but he is a very self-sufficient guy, and he's the kind of person that encourages me to stick to playing piano and really get into other instruments and being able to produce my own music and be self-sufficient.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you my five top list of all time, and I want your response with one word.
One word.
One word, and you can't reuse that one word. So if you say whack, you can't use whack again and whack again. Okay? All right, you ready?
All right.
So I'm gonna start with number 5. Okay. Number 5, all-time greatest rappers ever, ever in my world. I'm gonna go with LL Cool J.
Okay.
Okay, one word. All right. Number 4, Chuck D, Public Enemy.
Intelligence.
Intelligent.
Very intelligent brother.
Number 3 is going to be, man, that's gonna be hard for me. All right, I'm gonna go with it. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Okay. Old school.
Old school, cool. Number 2 is going to be Kid and Play.
Wow.
Wow, that's the word we're getting here.
Don't add a negative connotation to that. I wasn't saying like, wow, how would you like them?
Number 1, use Pinky. Number 1, Young MC.
I don't know enough of his material to make a judgment.
One word. Give me one word reaction.
Worth it.
There we have it, top 5 right there from Chuck and from Nelson. Awesome. All right, Chuck, so you got a bunch of gigs coming up. Yep. Tell us what gigs you're doing, the Loud Boys.
Yeah, I got a lot of gigs. The next one is going to be on June 15th. That'll be at the Nightcap Coffee Bar. Now, I double dip between the poetry and hip-hop world, so this is actually going to be a poetry slam. It's going to be 6 poets competing for a prize. I, on the other hand, will not be competing. I will be the featured artist. So I'll get like an extended set of pieces that I'm going to get to do. The next show after that is going to be June 19th. That's going to be over at Subterranean. It's called the Protector Essence Competition, and it's being sponsored by Hello Hip Hop. And 16 artists are gonna compete for, let's see, music video, promo package, some beats, a single done and remixed, and like hours worth of counseling on the music business.
So June 19th is the show you want to go
That's
to
the
for
show you
sure.
want to go to. Come
And
support
Word Up.
Yes.
And Word Up.
Yes.
So you want the poetry with Word Up, and you want June 19th Subterranean. You want hip hop.
Absolutely. Now, after that, it's going to be a show on June 24th at American Blues Theater for the RIP Festival. What that is, it's going to be a bunch of different playwrights showcasing some skits that they've written. I believe I'm going to be the only poet who's going to be there, but I'm going to be doing pieces about family and such. So yeah, I get about 10 minutes to do some family-oriented poems, and that'll be it. Let's see, July 3rd, I'm going to be the featured artist over at Heartland Cafe up in Rogers Park. So I get about a half-hour set, and that'll be at about 11 p.m. So for those who go to Heartland Cafe already, let your friends know. I'll definitely be letting them know, and as many people as I can know about it. Because Heartland is a great place to go for talent. There are a lot of talented artists in Heartland, and for you to miss out on them, it would just be disastrous.
And we don't want disaster, ladies and gentlemen. We don't.
No, we don't.
No disaster.
No, we don't.
All right, Chuck, good luck, man. Thanks for giving us the interview.
No problem, man.
Check this man out. You can check him out at Salsation.org for Word Up, HeartlandCafe.com. All right. You'll find him on Facebook, SoundCloud, Twitter, Yellow Pages, the post office, back of milk cartons. You can find him everywhere, man.
Not missing, right?
That's right. So if you don't hear from him, you know where to find him, all right? All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.